So guys, I'm not happy. I've been trying my absolute hardest to make this video, but we're gonna get straight into it because we're gonna be ranting about a certain person called Deji. Yes, Deji Olatunji, the guy who claims he's the best YouTube boxer. He can beat anyone. He can beat Jake Paul in a rematch, he believes. But fights guys like Vinny Hacker and weak opposition like fucking Deji'S Savage, that fucking bum that he fought a few weeks ago and barely beat, by the way, and knocked him out weirdly with that weird punch. But yeah, we're gonna get straight into the video. Let's get into it. Deji had his first fight against Jake Paul in 2018. He won. Well, he lost, but like he lost very convincingly. But you know what? We're not going to talk about that fight because actually it was his first fight and he didn't know what he was getting himself into. But yeah, but then but there's no excuse because when he fought Vinny Hacker, yeah, Vinny Hacker was smaller than him, never boxed. At that point, this was his first boxing match ever. Deji at least had like 3 years under his belt, and he was fighting this guy, and he never boxed. And it's like you can't even like show up in shape against him. Like this is something that he's had his whole career, always coming in out of shape or just overweight, like just not looking in the best condition in all of his fights. Really, literally in all of his fights, he's rarely ever came in peak shape, like peak shape. It's always a mid as fuck. Like a mid as hell shape. It's rarely ever like a peak, like muscular. Rarely like you barely see any like muscle. You barely see any abs or any like anything impressive. You just see like just tubbiness. In all of his fights, just tubbiness. I know abs don't win fights, but like still like if you have abs, it just shows you're motivated, which shows that you're ready for a fight. But like when I see Deji's body, it doesn't show me that he's motivated. It just shows me that he doesn't take boxing that seriously at all. When he claims he's the best boxer ever, or the best YouTube boxer, he's calling guys like Jake Paul, he's calling guys like Manny Pacquiao to fight, but he can't even show up in shape against Vinny Hacker, a guy he's smaller, never boxed before. Can't even show up in shape against Alex Wasabi. Again, it's insane to me how everyone overrates him, but he's not even that good. He's not even that good. He'd get beat by a lot of journeymen. He's that bad. Everyone says he's the most skilled. He's not the most skilled. It's just that his opponents were so bad. They made him look like fucking prime Mike Tyson in there. But he's not even prime. He's far from that. He's not even a journeyman. He's bad. Honestly, he sucks. He's terrible. He's poor. Poor. I think fucking Pineda would beat him in a boxing match. Pineda, that fucking bomb. He beat him in a boxing match. Because he actually has the mentality to go the extra way. Unlike Deji, who can't even show up in shape against a Vinny Hacker. You can't even show up in shape against fucking that weird, like, that Deji'S Savage guy, whatever the fuck his name is. You can't even show up in shape against fucking... You can't even throw punches against Alex Wasabi. Literally, he was a punching bag the whole fight. You couldn't even throw punches against Alex Wasabi, a guy who's not even that good at all. It just shows his mentality. You can't even show up in weight. You can't even show up in shape against Vinny Hacker. You can't even throw punches against Alex Wasabi. You can't even show up in weight against fucking Deji'S Savage. It just shows his mentality. He fought Vinny Hacker, a guy who never boxed, was smaller, and he lost to him somehow by very convincing stoppage, like a very convincing win for Vinny Hacker. He was losing the first 2 rounds, but he came back and dominated him and absolutely schooled him and absolutely beat him up and TKO'd him in the 3rd round. Then he fought Alex Wasabi and again shit the bed. He didn't even throw punches. He looked worse. Honestly, he looked worse in that fight than he did against Vinny Hacker, because at least in the Vinny Hacker fight, he was actually trying until he got knocked out. Whereas in this fight, he didn't try at all. He just threw like minimum like 3 punches around, and he wasn't even landing really anything at all. He threw like minimum like 2-3 punches around and was barely landing anything. I don't think he even threw a punch at all, actually. I didn't see any moment from Deji in that fight. Any moment. That kept me on the edge of my seat. Every time he got hit, I was like, oh my god, he's going to get knocked out because he's not throwing shit. He's just being a punching bag, essentially. And he was. He was a punching bag. He didn't throw punches. He was literally like that. He was literally a punching bag. Except his head move was a bit better, but that's it. You can't win a fight by just having good head movement. You have to actually counter, which he didn't do. He had many opportunities to counter, but he didn't do it. He didn't go for it. That just shows his mentality. That just shows his willingness to win. His mentality. If you can't even show up in shape against Vinny Hacker, it just shows you that you don't have the mentality. If you can't even show up in shape against Deji'S Savage, it shows you that you don't have the mentality. If you can't even throw punches against Alex Wasabi, it just shows you don't have the right mentality. Anyone, and obviously we can't forget about his fight with Floyd Mayweather. That was a joke of a fight. And guys, don't get it twisted. If Floyd Mayweather was actually like pissed off that day and actually wanted to hurt someone, he definitely would have knocked Deji out in the first round. And also, then he fought Fuzi. Again, like honestly, Fuzi is one of the worst boxers I've ever seen in my life. Oh my god, he's terrible. Honestly, I think I could beat Fuzi in a boxing match. I think give me like a few weeks and I'd beat him in a boxing match. Don't care how much bigger he is than me. I'd knock him out. I'd beat him up. I'd school him in a boxing match. He's so slow. He's so like easy to read. I'd beat him in a box match. I genuinely think I'd beat him in a box match. I think I'd fuck him up. No cap. I think I'd fuck him up in a box match. In my opinion, I think I would beat him pretty easily in my opinion because he's that bad. He's one of the worst boxers you've seen on this fucking planet. No defense at all. You guys thought fucking Ryan Borden was bad. No, the Fuzi's on a whole different level of ass, man. Ass. Like, terrible ass. That's what Fuzi is. He's worse than fucking Ben Askren. He's worse than fucking Nate Robinson. He's terrible. Terrible. Literally, he's terrible. So it's like, yeah. And Deji beat him. Everyone said he was the best boxer, the best YouTube boxer. He's the best, he's the most skilled boxer in the scene. He is skilled to a degree, but he's not the most skilled. Like, there's other guys in the scene who are way skilled than Deji. Guys like fucking Joey Knight, Dean the Great, them lot. They're more skilled, way more skilled than Deji in my opinion. I think they'd outbox the fuck out of Deji in my opinion. No, they would outbox the fuck out of Deji. Dean the Great, we all know Deji would never fight Dean the Great. Dean the Great would absolutely score him in a boxing match. He would absolutely outbox him, outpoint him, and absolutely destroy him, in my opinion. He'd probably stop him as well. But yeah, in my opinion. But Dean the Great isn't really active, but it's fine. He'd still outbox Deji and actually just pick him apart and just outbox him soundly. And maybe even KO him as well if he can. But yeah, I don't care how big he is, he would still whoop Deji's ass, in my opinion. No, he would whoop Deji's ass. Like, no cap. He would. Even if he's 50 pounds light, he'd still whoop Deji's ass very convincingly in a fight. He would. He genuinely would. Because he actually has the mentality unlike Deji, who does not have the mentality. He can't even show up in shape against fucking Vinny Hacker. He can't even show up in shape against Alex Wasabi. You can't even show up in shape against these other guys. Like, you can't even do anything impressive in your whole career other than just beat bums and just not even have the right mentality. Literally. And then, okay, we have to talk about his recent fight against the Woods Savage. Yeah, that's his name, the Woods Savage. We have to talk about his recent fight against the Woods Savage because that was a weird fight. I already talked about it in my last video, one of my last videos, but we'll talk about it again because that was a pathetic fight. Easy fight for Deji. I mean, the guy was 0-5, got knocked out by other bums, like beat up by other bums, and Deji was fighting that guy. It was embarrassing because the guy looked shit, like terrible. Literally, he actually looked worse than, honestly, I didn't even say he looked worse than Fuzi. He was that bad. And Deji beat him. No, and Deji, no, this is embarrassing. Deji was actually losing the first couple of rounds. He was actually losing the first, like, 1 or 2 rounds in that fight against the Woods Savage. That's embarrassing that you're losing 2 rounds against a guy who's never even won a fight and has been killed by other bums. He's been killed by other bums, and you're losing to that guy? That's embarrassing. And it just shows his mentality. It just shows that he's not as good as everyone says he is. If he was that good, he would have knocked this guy out in the first fucking 10 seconds. Like how Salt Papi knocked this guy out. But no, you couldn't even do that. That just shows that him and Salt Papi are not even... It just shows that him and Salt Papi are not even on the same level. I mean, we just see Salt Papi knock out King Kenny. That was very impressive by Salt Papi. On the same card as Deji. He had an embarrassing performance against fucking that Dawood bum savage guy. But yeah. We're 8 minutes in, but whatever. But yeah, honestly, I think I'm gonna end it, guys, because there's not really much else to talk about. But yeah, there's not much to talk about. But yeah, hope you guys enjoy seeing us in peace because I need to go to bed because it's getting late. But yeah, but I just wanted to rant about Deji's career because I just feel like he doesn't have the discipline. I think he's overrated. I think there's a lot of guys in the scene that will beat him up. I think someone like Dean the Great would piece him up and take him out. Maybe I think someone like Gib would beat him. I think someone like Slim, someone who actually has the mentality would beat him. Salt Papi definitely beats him in my opinion. But yeah, I think all of them would. Salt Papi, Gib, Slim, Dean the Great, King Kenny, maybe even. They've got the same coach, but whatever. Other guys in the space, maybe even Winter Sooners if he's actually like, still boxing. You can literally just throw punches and he'd probably still win because Deji just does not have the mentality to throw a punch himself. Only when he's fighting complete trash cans, but when he's fighting someone who's actually like a little bit decent, but not quite decent, he freezes. It's actually embarrassing. But we're gonna end it here now, guys. We've been rambling for 10 minutes. We're gonna end it here. Hope you guys enjoy seeing this. Peace. Peace. Yeah. So yeah, I'll see you next time. Peace.